Trackman story time. So a week ago, I had to go in for a bone marrow biopsy, and part of the ongoing testing for the particular type of cancer that I'm dealing with. I have never had a bone marrow biopsy done ever, and so this was my first time, and I really didn't know how it was going to happen. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to take and they're going to cut you open, and and you're not going to be awake during the process. They're going to do whatever they need to do to get a drill to drill through your bone to get the bone marrow that they need for the test. But that's not what they do. So I'm in the doctor's office. My oncologist is explaining to me how it's going to work. Actually, it was the nurse, and she's going through all the parts of the procedure, and she gets to the part where, okay, we're going to make an incision, then we're going to open you up, and we're going to take and push a hole through your bone. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I said, how in the hell is a needle sharp enough to go through your bone? And I'd like to see that needle. So she showed it to me. And all of you guys out there, you mechanics and moto guys, will know what this is. It looks exactly like a T-handle, like the little short ones. And so it has a handle. The doctor can grip it really tightly, and the needle is probably about that long. The needle diameter is about the size of an ink pen cartridge that you pull out of a Bic pen. And she explains it and says that you're going to feel a lot of pressure, and what they do is they take that thing and they feed it through your bone. And I said, okay, so once you get that done, what's the next step? She said, well, we take a different type of needle and we put that in the hole that we've pushed through the bone, then we extract the bone marrow. I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like that's not going to be too terrible. Well, the thing is, even though they deaden it, that's still your bone, and you can feel all of that pressure when they're pushing a hole through your bone. So anyway, we get started. They ask Wendy to leave the room, and the nurse comes in. I'm face down on the bed, and shorts are off. She pulls my underwear down, my butt is hanging out, pulls my shirt up to my midsection, and I'm just laying there on the bed waiting. And she leaves the room, but she leaves the door open. Now, outside of that room, there is like a cinema section, and maybe 25, 30 chairs of people sitting in their chairs with their little IV bag because they are getting chemotherapy. Well, now they are looking straight in the room with me laying on the bed with my butt cheeks hanging out. And I was like, what is going on? So the nurse comes back in, and she does close the door. She looks and she says, are you cold? And I'm like, well, yeah, I actually am cold. And I guess you could tell because when you you're cold and you get the little bumps on your skin. Well, I guess I had them on my butt because my butt's hanging out. Well, then she gets a blanket and she puts the blanket from probably the small of my back up to my shoulders, and my butt is still hanging out. So nothing changed. Anyway, it was just quite the experience to get that done, and I should have results back from that test. But I just thought it was so funny. After that, I was sharing the story with my wife, and it was actually kind of comical because that's their standard operating procedure, I guess. Anyway, till next time, have a good day. We'll see you soon.